Welcome to the YouTube channel as well. So this is the 13th step towards moksha. So like Lord Hanuman unveils to us every time, how we are moving towards moksha. Last session we learnt about the experimentation of Sage Aurava on the fluid of space to create 60,000 bodies and how that resulted in evil being perpetrated throughout Manav Loka, and that was brought to an end by the descent of Maa Ganga. So Ganga Devi cleared all the sins of all the evil that had spread in the world at that time. Now we will learn about the Linga code. So what is the secret behind Shiva Linga and what is the secret behind the idol of Tirupati? This step is extremely important. Like in the game of ladder and snake, a ladder takes you at the top instantly. This chapter provides a ladder. Some blessed and lucky souls may get the ladder from here and get enlightenment. Those who don't get the ladder will continue the step-by-step journey through the upcoming chapters. In this chapter, Lord Hanuman explains that the meaning of linga is very different. If your mind still lingers on the popular meaning of linga, read every occurrence of the word linga as aura. Every soul has an aura which is called linga. When Baba Mathang completed the ritual of Arpanam on behalf of Yajman Dhanushka, Lord Hanuman said, "O Dhanushka, I am happy with the devotion with which you have surrendered yourself. Do ask what do you desire to have as prasadam." Dhanushka, let us express our gratitude to Dhanushka. Dhanushka's wish was no different than any other Matham. He said, "O Lord, I seek the supreme knowledge which leads to moksha." Lord Hanuman stared at Dhanushka's face mysteriously. He smiled as though he had read something on Dhanushka's face and said, "O Dhanushka, as you learned earlier, this universe is all about three things. The souls which are owned by Lord Brahma, the fluid of space which is owned by Lord Vishnu, and the threads of time which are owned by Lord Shiva. The fluid of space has everything inside it. Mountains, rivers, stars, planets, the matter we can perceive and the matter we cannot perceive, everything is there in the fluid of space. O Dhanushka, think and tell, out of everything which is out there in the fluid of space, why has your soul chosen this small and fragile human body? Why do you feel that you are this body? Why don't you feel that you are this whole mountain where we are sitting right now? Why don't you feel that you are a lake? Why don't you feel that you are a tree? Why does your soul identify with this body of flesh and blood?" Lord Hanuman asked. Very interesting question. Dhanushka thought for a moment and said, "O Lord, it all depends on two things, karma and desire. The desires accumulated by my soul which can be best fulfilled by this body only. That is why I have this body and not the body of a mountain or the tree or the river." Lord Hanuman said, "O Mathams, what Dhanushka said is correct. A soul's karma, desire, determines the body it acquires. Now I am going to show you something." Lord Hanuman stood up, joined his palms and chanted a mantra and then slowly separated his palms. The Mathangs present in the Hanumandal saw that Dhanushka's body had split into two. Now there were two identical figures, one made up of flesh and blood, another made up of divine light. The young Mathang stood in the Hanumandal, presumed that the figure of light was nothing but Dhanushka's soul. "Ah, I have finally seen what our soul looks like. It is similar to the body, but made up of light," a young Mathang remarked. "Can't be, right?" Lord Hanuman quickly corrected him. "Oh Mathang, that figure of light is not a soul. A soul is just a point of light. When karma and desire accumulate on it, it develops an aura of light around it. Shape of this aura is determined by the karma and desire accumulated by the soul. This aura of light around the soul is called Jyoti Linga or simply Linga. O Mathams, with the divine vision provided by me, you are now able to see the Linga, red aura of Dhanushka's soul. You will see that, whenever we meet somebody, you say that his aura is not good. You immediately feel his energy. Or you say that, oh, his aura is very good. When you enter into a holy man, a Swamiji's this thing, you will feel that there is a lot of positive vibes. Or with somebody who you cannot trust, you will feel that evil vibes. That is the aura. Your aura or our aura is interacting with that person's aura, which is giving that feeling to us. So, O Mathams, as you can see, both the Linga and the body are identical in shape. The only difference is that the Linga is made up of karma and desire, while the body is made up of space and time. We have already read, right, that the body is nothing but fluid of space over strings of time. Whereas so imagine this, when we were in Mukti Sagara, we were just a point of light. We were nothing but the soul. So how did the soul take this body? Whenever the soul it communicates telepathically to the Mahavishnu, and the soul tells that I want to go to one particular loka. He says, based on your karma and desire, you have to take this body. So this body is what we take over and come into this loka. The relationship between the linga and the body is that they are mirror images of each other. If we do any change in the linga, the body shape will also change. Please understand this very important statement. If you make any changes in the linga, that body will also change. What it means is that, thank you. What does it mean? It means that what is the linga made up of? Karma and desire. The linga is made up of karma and desire. If we change our karma and desire, then the body also has to change. If my karma changes and my desire changes, let's say my desire is to fly like an eagle, maybe I need to attain certain karmas to become the body of an eagle. So if my karma changes and if my desire changes, then I can become an eagle. I'm just giving you an example. Sage Bhrigu had developed a science around this principle, based on this principle. If a linga of a soul is changed, its body shall also change. This science is also called as Linga Shastra. Linga Purana and Linga Shastra are not the same. I am going to explain to you the fundamental principle of this science, which will help you understand the mystery of this universe. Lord Hanuman came near the body of Dhanushka, which was standing still in the air as if it had been frozen by a mantra. Lord Hanuman pointed to the body and said, hair on its head are black. Let us say we want to change his hair to red color permanently. The physical way of doing it is to pull out his black hair one by one and plant red hair in its place. This would be a very painful procedure. Sage Bhrigu had found a very easy way of doing this. If you want to bring a change in the body of a soul, change the linga of the soul. Lord Hanuman now turned towards the linga of Dhanushka's soul. The linga was also hanging still in the air, few steps away from the body. It was a three-dimensional structure made up of only light. Lord Hanuman said, we need to find out which waves of light in this linga are the cause of the black hair. Like a DNA. We just need to pull out those waves and replace them with the waves which would cause red hair. Lord Hanuman came back to his asana again. He spoke, O Mathams, I have given a very minor example of the application of Linga Shastra. With the formulas of Linga Shastra, humans can be transformed into a bird into a stone, and so on. Sage Bhrigu's research on the nature of Linga began when he once visited Lord Vishnu and said, O Lord, when the soul rises from the Mukti Sagara with a desire, why do you send the soul to the mortal worlds? You know very well that the mortal worlds are an endless trap where one desire leads to another desire. After a difficult, long journey in the mortal worlds, ultimately the soul has to attain moksha and come back to Mukti Sagara to attain eternal peace. Instead of sending the soul to mortal worlds, why don't you just send them back to Mukti Sagara itself? As soon as they rise with the first desire, Lord Vishnu smiled and said, "Look at that, a soul is rising from the Mukti Sagara. She will ask me the way to the mortal worlds where it can fulfill her desire. I will send that soul with you. I will tell her that you will help her in fulfilling her desire. If you can save her from the trap of the mortal worlds, do so. Help her in getting moksha as early as you can." You understood? So what he says is that there is a soul which has risen. You do everything possible in changing the waves and sending it back to Mukti Sagara. What does it mean is that every time a desire comes up within in that soul's mind or soul itself, right? Then he will immediately fulfill that desire. This will keep happening and keep happening till it attains Mukti. So help her in getting moksha as early as you can. There, that soul had linga of a wild boar. That soul came to Manav Loka with Sage Bhrigu and acquired the body of a wild boar. Okay. Sage Bhrigu named this soul Varaha and started working on the mission of giving moksha to Varaha. Note, the Varaha mentioned here is not Adi Varaha, who is supposed to be Lord Vishnu's avatara. However, this Varaha was also not an ordinary soul. Lord Vishnu had sent a part of himself with Sage Bhrigu. Sage Bhrigu could make a human attain moksha by imparting the supreme knowledge. But Lord Vishnu had given him the task of giving enlightenment to a wild boar. When he reached his ashrama, he discussed this task with his most sincere disciple Udvega. Sage Bhrigu said, "O Udvega, first of all we should find a way to convert Varaha into a human being. Then only we can work on the enlightenment part." A long time passed, but they could not find any solution. Another problem was that Varaha was getting old. Udvega said to Sage Bhrigu, "Gurudeva, we should first find out how to stop Varaha from aging. We cannot teach it the yogic ways of staying young. We need to find out some other solution. If Varaha dies, his soul will acquire another body and then we will have to start our work all over again." In an attempt to stop that Varaha from aging, they shifted their attention from its body to its linga. They managed to find the wave in the linga which was responsible for aging of the body. They removed that wave and Varaha's body stopped aging. Amazing, right? Many years passed. Their experiments with the linga of Varaha continued. Finally, they successfully transformed Varaha's body from a wild boar to a human being by way of making changes in its linga. Gurudeva, now that Varaha has become human, you can impart supreme knowledge to him so that he gets moksha. Udvega said. Sage Bhrigu replied, "Moksha through supreme knowledge is a human way of doing it. It is a long and difficult process. My question to Lord Vishnu was that why does he send the souls to the human world? Why can't he himself give moksha then and there? There has to be a way of giving moksha instantly." Udvega gave an idea. "Gurudeva, moksha is all about getting rid of the birth and death cycle. Getting rid of all the karmas and desires. Linga around the soul exists because of its karmas and desires. If we can destroy the linga completely, then all the desires and the karma of the soul will also be destroyed. Then the soul will get moksha. So our focus should be to destroy the linga of Varaha's soul." Many years passed. They tried to destroy Varaha's linga wave by wave. Their efforts went in vain. There was no end to the waves of light the linga was built of. When they would remove some waves from the linga, it would only change its shape, and the body would accordingly change form. From human to cow, from cow to monkey, from monkey to sparrow, from sparrow to snake, and so on. There was no end to it. Sethu's note: it is very difficult to get rid of karma and desire completely. The soul just keeps changing bodies from one birth to another, but it fails to get rid of karma and desire. This phenomenon is also called Indra's Maya Jal or Indra's net. Once a soul comes into the mortal worlds, it is like a net which has no way out. Matter bodies which a soul keeps acquiring are a part of the fluid of space which is managed by Indra. That is why it is called Indra's Maya Jal. They could not destroy Varaha's Linga, but in the process they got to understand the very nature of Linga. Their findings led to the development of a whole science of Linga called the Linga Shastra. After many years, Sage Bhrigu said to his disciple, "O Udvega, the Linga is made up of eternal light. By altering the waves of this light, we can only change it from one form to another, but we cannot destroy it." Very similar to energy, which can only be transformed from one form to another, but cannot be destroyed. We are all nothing but energy, and if you apply that same principle of physics to this, that is what it means. That every time they are changing the nature of linga or the waves of light, it is acquiring a different form, but the karma and desire are not going off. So he says, by altering the waves of this light, we can only change it from one form to another. We are not able to destroy it. Udvega said, "Gurudeva, our efforts haven't gone completely in vain. We have at least discovered how to transform a body from one form to another that exists in this world." Sage Bhrigu said, "Udvega, now that we know everything about transformation of bodies, we should focus our research on transportation of a body from one place to another instantly by way of altering its linga. Probably we can find a way to transport this soul back to Mukti Sagara. Once it reaches Mukti Sagara, it will attain moksha." They turned Varaha back into a human body. See, by now they have already mastered that science. So whenever they want, they can transform the body of the soul. Once it reaches Mukti Sagara, it will get moksha. So they turned it back into a human body and started exploring ways to transport it from one place to another by altering the composition of light or linga. They were doing experiments in the central room of their ashrama. Cow shed was at a small distance from there. Udvega suggested, "Gurudeva, should we try and transport Varaha from here to the cow shed?" So they found a combination of waves in the linga which were responsible for location of the body. They altered that combination to change the location of Varaha. Varaha disappeared from the central room and instantly reappeared in the cow shed. Udvega's eyes sparkled. He said, "Gurudeva, this is revolutionary. Now one does not have to be a yogi to get supernatural powers. We can transport and transform even animals and non-yogis." Now the body of Varaha was in the cow shed, and his linga was in that central room of the ashrama in front of Sage Bhrigu and his disciple. "O Mathams, you need to note here that linga does not travel with the body. Body is bound by space and time, but not the linga. So even if a devotee is miles and miles away from here, I can see their linga right here. I do not need to go near their bodies." That is how God works. That He is able to see our linga. Whenever we pray to Him, whenever we come close to Him, our bodies are here, but our lingas are going close to Him. So He is able to see that. When Varaha was in the cowshed of the ashrama, Udvega decided to tweak his linga further. He said, "Gurudeva, can we plant a thought in Varaha's mind by way of planting a wave in his linga? Sage Bhrigu did not answer. He was busy in thinking as to how can Varaha be transported back to Mukti Sagara. Udvega went ahead and planted a thought in Varaha's mind through his linga. The thought was, Varaha, milk a cow. When Varaha milked the cow, Udvega transported him back to the central room. Udvega excitedly said, Gurudeva, see, I have got the cow milked without going to the cow shed. But you sent Varaha to milk the cow. There is nothing miraculous in it. If you can, do milk a cow without sending anybody to the cow shed, said Sage Bhrigu. For that we would need to work on the cow's linga also, Udvega said. We can just take out a wave in the cow's linga which is responsible for milk and plant that wave in that bucket. How would you plant a wave in a bucket? Bucket has no soul and therefore no linga. Sage Bhrigu attempted to test Udvega's intelligence. No, Gurudeva, when I watch, touch or hold a bucket, the bucket becomes a part of my linga. We can make the bucket part of Udvega's linga and then we can plant that wave in Udvega's linga. Milk from the udder of the cow will directly come to the bucket. As simple as that. Udvega said, "Oh Mathams, they did these kind of experiments for years and compiled their findings in their Linga Shastra. One day they discovered the combination of waves in the linga which was responsible for a soul's distance from Brahmaloka. They altered that combination and successfully transported Varaha to Brahmaloka. In the process, Varaha's linga disappeared completely. His soul was now just a point of light. There was no linga around it." Udvega exclaimed, "Gurudeva, we have done it. We have destroyed the linga of Varaha's soul. Varaha's soul now has no karma and desire attached to it. It is simply a point of light. It has attained moksha." But Sage Bhrigu was not pleased. He replied, "O Udvega, when a soul becomes free from karma and desire, it reaches Brahmaloka. Such a soul thinks that it has attained moksha, but in reality it has not. Even after the destruction of all karma and desire, the sense of I or the ego still remains. The sense that I am a soul has to be destroyed in order to attain moksha. A soul has to destroy its identity and merge with the whole. It has to merge into the Mukti Sagara. This is the final step. Unfortunately, most of the souls stop their journey as soon as their karma desire is destroyed. They remain in the illusion that they have attained moksha. They remain stuck in Brahmaloka. There are so many such souls in Brahmaloka." Udvega asked, "Gurudeva, Brahmaloka is just at the top of Mukti Sagara. It is so near. Why can't these souls eject from Brahmaloka and come down to Mukti Sagara?" "Illusion, Udvega, illusion," Sage Bhrigu replied. "They have a strong illusion that they have attained moksha, and the souls which are inside Mukti Sagara are the fools who have dissolved their identities and become part of the whole. Their illusion is such a strong force that it pulls out even the liberated souls from Mukti Sagara." Setu's note. This answers the questions which many devotees asked after reading chapter 4, which is, after attaining moksha, why do souls come out of the Mukti Sagara again?
The desire, then only is going to come outside.
Yeah, but there are, so in Mukti Sagara there is no desire. In Mukti Sagara you have no desire, you have no karma, everything is destroyed. It is part of the whole now, which means it is part of Paramatma in the Mukti Sagara. But what happens exactly is that a lot of them feel that we are fools to have dissolved ourselves because we are, that's what he says here, right? Their illusion is such a strong force that it pulls out even liberated souls from Mukti Sagara. What is that illusion? They have a strong illusion that they have attained moksha, and the souls which are inside Mukti Sagara are fools who have dissolved their identities and become part of the whole. So if the ego is not destroyed, the sense of I or the sense of self still remains, then you have not attained moksha. You feel you have attained, and that feeling that you have attained keeps them stuck in Brahmaloka itself.
So what we call the ego death is when they merge into the body.
Yeah.
Without the linga.
They can't.
Like the linga still remains.
The linga, no, the linga does not remain. The soul remains. So what should we do now, Gurudeva? If we do not do anything, Varaha's soul will remain stuck in Brahmaloka. We will never be able to give it moksha. I am afraid we cannot do anything now. Varaha's linga has been destroyed. He is now just a point of light in Brahmaloka. How do we bring him back? Sage Bhrigu replied, Udvega, he has not gone completely out of our reach yet. He exists in our karma and desire. We have the desire to liberate him from Brahmaloka. That desire is the rope with which we can pull him down to the mortal worlds again. Sage Bhrigu used his yogic powers to bring Varaha back into Manavloka. Now Varaha was back in the form of human being, and his linga was available yet again to experiment upon. So we have to destroy two things together. The linga of Varaha's soul and the sense of I of Varaha's soul. Then only Varaha will get moksha. So Sage Bhrigu said to Udvega, Udvega said, Gurudeva, I have an idea. In a linga, there are positive waves which represent positive karma and positive desires. And then there are negative waves which represent negative karma and negative desires. If we keep an equal amount of negative and positive waves, they will cancel each other. Then there is a probability that the linga as well as the sense of I shall disappear and Varaha will get moksha. They worked on this idea for many months. At last they balanced the positive and negative waves of the linga. But the outcome was not as expected. Instead of disappearing, the linga of Varaha acquired an oval shape and the body of Varaha disappeared from Manavloka. So, earlier the linga was there and the body disappeared. Now the linga has disappeared and the body is still there. Sage Bhrigu said, Varaha has reached Shivaloka. When a soul becomes indifferent to both positive and negatives of this world, its linga takes an oval shape and the soul reaches Shivaloka. There are many souls which are stuck in Shivaloka. They think they have reached the supreme destination and that there is nothing beyond that. They feel they have destroyed their karma and desire. But in reality, their positive and negative karma and desire are just balancing each other, thereby creating an illusion of zero karma desire. Apart from that, their sense of I remains intact. Therefore, they have not got moksha. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. So, but in reality, their positive and negative karma desire are balancing each other. Therefore, they have not got moksha. Gurudeva, Varaha is still part of our karma desire. Can you pull him out of Shivaloka by using your yogic powers? Udvega asked. No, that won't be enough, Sage Bhrigu replied. Souls of Shivaloka follow Lord Shiva. You should pray to Lord pray to Lord Shiva to appear here. When he is here, I can use my yogic powers to call Varaha here. O Mathans, Lord Shiva is indifferent to both positives and negatives of the mortal worlds. Therefore, his linga, red aura, is oval shaped. That's the reason why the Shiva Linga is in that shape. So did you understand this secret? Shall I repeat it? So whenever the positive and the negative karma and desire balance each other, then the aura assumes an oval shape. This oval shape is the way in which we represent Shiva Linga. Many say that it is the organ member of Shiva and all that, right? That is false. This is the aura. So when the positives and negative karma and desire cancel each other out, it will attain a aura of an oval shape, which is the Shiva Linga. Yeah.
Kind of reminds you of zero also. The zero is.
Yeah, it's like that. Correct. So actually, if you see a lot of Aghori sadhus who are in the quest of attaining Lord Shiva, what do? They do the most despicable things. But they say that for them, both negative and positive is alike. If you say Shiva Shiva mein kan mein Shiva hai, in every kan we have Shiva, then there is nothing called bad smell. There is nothing called doing something bad. They don't differentiate between something which is very sweet and something which is very bitter. They don't differentiate between something like a dead body or something like a living body. For them, everything is equal. So that it is the most, I would say, the most extreme form of attaining Shiva, which is what the Aghoris do, which is by destroying their sense of duality. When you destroy duality, right? When you go outside, you say, fresh air. When you go to a place which stinks, you say, stinky air. But they are indifferent to both. So by practicing, living and doing all the most despicable things, they are destroying their sense of duality. Therefore, the yin and yang is destroyed and you merge as one and you attain Shivaloka. So, yeah. If he comes into the mortal world, if Lord Shiva comes to the mortal world, he would take only oval shaped bodies. But he never fully comes to the mortal worlds. Half of him always remains in Shivaloka and half of him comes to the mortal worlds for devotees of the mortal worlds. Hence, he appears in mortal worlds in half oval shaped bodies. On the other hand, Lord Brahma has no linga. He does not take any matter body in mortal worlds. So that is the reason why we do not worship Lord Brahma.
Yeah, he only has one temple in Pushkar.
Yeah, but other than that, what I'm saying is that the reason why we do not worship Lord Brahma is that he does not have any linga and his body is always in Brahmaloka. So it never comes to Manav Loka for us to worship him. It is all, see, that's why I said a lot of the things, scientific things, have been explained to us in the form of stories, mythological stories, curses and boons, which is not true. This is the scientific reason why we do not worship Lord Brahma. Because his linga never comes, it is always there. His linga doesn't come and his body is always in Brahmaloka. Whereas for all other, now he'll say, see, Lord Vishnu changes his linga as per the needs of the mortal worlds. Therefore, he takes various bodies in the mortal worlds for mortals to worship him. Now you realize. As per Sage Bhrigu's plan, Udvega prayed to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva appeared there in half oval shaped stone, which is the Shiva Linga. At that moment, Sage Bhrigu used his yogic powers and pulled Varaha back to Manav Loka. Varaha appeared in Sage Bhrigu's ashram again in the form of a wild boar. Back to square one. Udvega said, Gurudeva, we are back to square one. Sage Bhrigu again altered the linga of Varaha's soul. He removed all the waves which were representing negative karma and negative desire. Now there were only waves of positive karma and positive desire in Varaha's linga. The linga acquired a very beautiful shape and reached Vishnu Loka. Even Vishnu Loka is not Mukti Sagara. This means he is now right at the surface of Mukti Sagara. He can enter Mukti Sagara and get moksha from Vishnu Loka. No Udvega, many souls reach Vishnu Loka. They feel they have reached the ultimate destination, but they have not. They have only and only got good karma and desire. And along with that, they also have the sense of I. So they do not get moksha. They remain in Vishnu Loka in service of Lord Vishnu. Whenever there is a requirement of a good soul in a mortal world, Lord Vishnu sends one of these souls there to restore goodness in the world. Many of the sages who have come are only this. Sage Bhrigu, in fact even Bhakta Prahalada was that in Vishnu Loka he sent. Even Bhakta Prahalada was one. In fact it is told, it's mentioned in the story as well, we will read that later. Sage Bhrigu conceded finally that he cannot complete the task given by Lord Vishnu. He went to Lord Vishnu and said, "O Lord, I could not give moksha to Varaha. I now understand that an external effort can only lead a soul from one body to another body, or from one loka to another loka. To get moksha, the soul has to realize on its own that this is an endless net. This is the Maya Jal. The soul has to dissolve its identity and merge with the whole. Then and only then it gets moksha. Now I understand that when a soul rises with a desire from Mukti Sagara, there is no other option for you but to send it to the mortal worlds." Lord Vishnu smiled and said, "Shrivatsa, Shrivatsa, Shrivatsa." When Bhrigu looked at the heart of Lord Vishnu, a symbol of endless net was sparkling. This symbol is called Shrivatsa. It reminds the soul that they are trapped in the endless net and that they need to destroy their sense of I in order to get moksha. Sage Bhrigu asked with his palms joined, "Lord, what will happen to Varaha now? Will you send him again to the mortal worlds? Will he again go through the infinite cycle of birth and death?" "Varaha? Varaha who?" Lord Vishnu smiled and said, "Maharishi Bhrigu, he was a form of mine. He was in Varaha form when he went with you. Now he is in his original form. I have sent him with you to support in the creation of Linga Shastra." That was the reason why he sent him. "I will now send him again to Manav Loka in Kali Yuga at an appropriate time. He will stay there till I come there in Kalki Avatara." Sage Bhrigu said, "O Lord, in Kali Yuga, living beings will have a maximum lifespan of 200 years. Will he keep changing bodies in order to stay there till the end?" Lord Vishnu replied, "Maharishi, he will take the body of a stone and he will be called Venkateshwara. He will help souls in staying on the path of moksha in the darkest times of Kali Yuga. O Mathams, Lord Venkateshwara is currently in Manav Loka. By hearing this story from me, you have also become a part of his Linga." Whose Linga? Tirupati Balaji's Linga. "Now he will help all of you in fulfilling your desires of moksha." Lord Hanuman concluded, Dhanushka had got a wonderful prasadam in the form of this knowledge. He bowed to Lord Hanuman in gratitude. The third session of Charan Puja then concluded. With this, let us, whatever is happening, please understand that when I read this story is as if Lord Hanuman is telling us. It is only through me that you are listening, but it is as if Lord Hanuman is telling all of us. That is the reason why you are all here. If you weren't destined to listen to this story, you would all not be here. So, which means that our souls have also come close to the soul of Tirupati Balaji. So let us take a little while to meditate upon Sri Tirupati Balaji and pray for moksha. And how do we pray for moksha? By praying that he gives us the good sense and the wisdom that we are not this body. whatever is happening to this character and not to the soul. The soul is permanently in bliss. It is away from this web of space and time. It is away from the web of space and time. It is not in the web of space and time. Who is caught in the web of space and time? This character. This character called Anil feels that I have a family, I have a job, I need some money, I need this, I need that. All of that is the desire of this character, not of my soul. So let us pray to Lord Tirupati Balaji to help us in reaffirming this desire. Thank you.